For 6 years, Rachel and I built a life together. We weren't married, but everything else mirrored a marriage. Shared bills, joint savings, a home. Though the mortgage was in my name, our lives were deeply intertwined. One Thursday morning, while I was making coffee, she leaned against the counter and quietly said, "I think I need some space." I paused, turned to her slowly. "Space." I repeated. She nodded, crossing her arms. "Yeah, I just feel like I've lost sight of who I am. I need time to figure things out." I kept my tone steady. I've always believed that silence often reveals more than shouting ever could. "All right," I said. Her brows lifted, clearly not expecting that answer. "That's it? You're not even going to discuss it?" "You've made your choice," I said calmly. "I'm simply respecting it. But if you need space, it won't be under this roof." Her face showed a flash of surprise, maybe even disappointment, as if she thought I'd plead or argue. I didn't. 15 minutes later, she was zipping up a suitcase and walking toward the door. She paused for a moment, waiting, perhaps hoping I'd stop her. I simply opened the door and said, "Take care, Rachel." She walked out without looking back. The next morning, I woke up early as usual, brewed my coffee, went to the gym, and returned to answer emails. Her absence wasn't some gaping hole. It was simply one less piece to manage in my day. A few days later, my sister Sarah called. "She really left?" "Yeah," I answered. "And you're just okay with that? What is there to panic about?" I replied, "She knew me. I didn't do pleading or emotional theatrics." Later that weekend, my childhood friend John dropped by. We sat quietly at first, the silence comfortable but heavy with unspoken questions. Eventually, he asked how I was holding up. I told him the truth. Rachel wanted space. I gave it. I wasn't going to chase someone unsure about staying. John nodded, understanding. There were occasional moments, instinctively glancing at the empty side of the bed, reaching for my phone only to remember there'd be no message. But I never allowed myself to spiral. Instead, I returned to the boxing gym after years. The first hit on the heavy bag brought a strange calmness, like I was reclaiming something I'd lost long ago. Rachel never reached out. No texts, no calls. That silence said more than any words could. She wasn't longing for me. She simply wanted to test if the grass was greener elsewhere. And I was quietly moving forward, without drama or desperation. One Sunday night, John texted, "Saw Rachel tonight. She wasn't alone." I called him. John explained he had run into her at a rooftop bar. She was laughing, hand resting on another guy's knee, relaxed, like nothing had ever existed between us. He didn't stay long enough to be noticed, but the picture was clear. 2 days later, Sarah messaged me. "You didn't hear this from me, but Alicia posted winery photos. Rachel's in them, with some guy named Enzo. I didn't know Enzo, but I didn't need to. Rachel's space wasn't about self-reflection. It was about seeing what else was out there. What hurt wasn't that she moved on. It was the lie she told when she left. The following day, I started cutting ties. Removed her from the streaming accounts, canceled the extra phone line. Whatever thrill Enzo was offering her, she was welcome to it. She didn't leave for clarity. She left because she wanted something new while keeping me as a safety net. That night, I boxed up her remaining things. For the first time in months, I slept deeply. The weight was finally lifting. 3 weeks later, the silence had transformed into peace. No more passive-aggressive texts. No cold stares over dinner. The house didn't feel empty. It felt mine. I converted the guest room into a home office. Tossed out the bland furniture Rachel had insisted on. At one point, I canceled her gym membership that was still attached to my account. The woman behind the desk paused briefly upon seeing Rachel's name, but she said nothing as she deleted it. Rachel finally reached out after all that time. Simple text, a call, a vague, "Hey, how have you been?" I didn't respond, not out of pettiness, but because I had no interest in reopening doors she'd already closed. One night, Sarah called to check in. She was hesitant, waiting for signs of bitterness. Instead, I told her the truth. I was doing well. The house was peaceful. My focus was sharp again. She even admitted she never really liked Rachel to begin with. I had let go of missing her the moment I realized she never missed me. Rachel had gambled on better options, but expected I'd still be waiting if things didn't pan out. Then came a message I didn't expect. An Instagram DM from someone named Enzo Navarro. Out of pure curiosity, I opened it. "Hey man, I know this is awkward, but I think we should talk. It's about Rachel." I replied with simple, "Why?" He responded quickly. "I didn't know you two were still together when we started seeing each other. You deserve the truth. Can we meet?" We met at a coffee shop downtown the next afternoon. Enzo was already seated, looking uneasy, almost like someone about to confess. He spoke first. "Rachel told me you two were done, that she was only staying at your place temporarily while figuring things out. We slept together before she officially left." I stayed silent, letting him continue. "At first, I truly thought you were out of the picture. It wasn't until much later that I realized she had still been texting you, pretending like nothing had changed." I nodded once, not angry, just attached. "Why tell me now?" I asked. "Because I got played too," he admitted. "You deserve to know who she really is." I stood up without shaking his hand and left. For weeks after she had first walked out, Rachel returned, exactly as I expected. She stood at my door, hair pulled back, eyes tired. "Hey," she whispered. Without speaking, I let her inside. She looked around at the rearranged living room, as though stepping into a stranger's home. "You've changed a lot," she said softly. "Yeah, it was time," I replied. She sat down carefully on the edge of the couch. "I've been thinking about us, about everything." She spun her story, hoping I'd buy it. Enzo and I weren't serious. It didn't mean anything. I just thought I needed something different, and realized I lost what mattered. I looked at her steadily. "Are you sure you want to stick to that version?" She froze. "What do you mean?" I leaned in, because I spoke to Enzo. He told me everything. How you slept together before you even left. How you claimed we were already over while still texting me like nothing was wrong. Her face paled. "I didn't think you'd actually talk to him." "No, you didn't think at all," I said firmly. "You assumed I'd wait, ready to take you back whenever you decided to return." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I didn't stop loving you," she said weakly. "I just got confused." I handed her a box filled with the rest of her belongings. "Here's your stuff. I figured you'd want it eventually." She looked at the box, then back at me. "So that's it?" "Yes." "You're not even willing to listen?" "I already have. All I hear is someone trying to undo a decision they made." "I thought you'd understand," she whispered. "I do," I replied. "You thought I'd still be here." She stood up slowly, picked up the box, and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned one last time. "I hope you'll forgive me one day."